Donald Trump making his way to watch the UFC, which he absolutely loves.
Trump just pulled off the ultimate plot twist. He's more popular at a UFC fight than in the Oval Office. The man walked into Madison Square Garden and the place went nuts. It was like watching your grumpy grandpa suddenly become the coolest kid in school. Meanwhile, back in DC, the only thing louder than the boos are the sounds of politicians scratching their heads. Is Trump playing 4D chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers? Let's break it down, shall we? Picture this. Madison Square Garden packed tighter than Trump's old pants. Suddenly, American Badass blasts through the speakers. The crowd's collective jaw drops as the Donald himself strolls in like he's walking into his own golden-plated bathroom. Trump's not alone though. He's got his entourage of big shots trailing behind him like a bunch of oversized ducklings. You'd think the Pope had shown up, but nope. It's just our favorite orange ex-Prez. Now here's where it gets weird. The crowd goes absolutely bananas. We're talking New York City here, folks. Isn't this supposed to be liberal central?
Here inside Madison Square Garden as the President-elect Donald Trump feels the love, taking a position in Donald Trump's cabinet. From all of these New Yorkers and all the fight fans around the world who have made their way to UFC.
But no, it's like MAGA country invaded the Big Apple. Red hats are popping up faster than Trump's excuses, and the USA chants are drowning out the ref's whistle. Let's talk numbers, shall we? We're looking at about 20,000 screaming fans, and the decibel level is somewhere between a jet engine and Trump's Twitter rants. It's so loud, I swear I saw a few toupees flying off. But wait a second, is it all sunshine and rainbows? Are those boos I hear? Yep, mixed in with the cheers are a few brave souls daring to voice their dissent. It's like finding a salad at a Trump buffet. Rare, but definitely there. So what's the final verdict on the crowd's reaction? Well, it's about as mixed as Trump's business success. Mostly positive, with a dash of oh hell no thrown in for good measure. It's clear that love him or hate him, Trump still knows how to work a room better than a used car salesman at a retirement home. But hold onto your MAGA hats, folks. Trump wasn't just there to bask in the adoration of sweaty UFC fans. Oh no. He had a few tricks up his ill-fitting sleeve. And by tricks, I mean some very interesting choice of company. Let's just say Elon Musk wasn't the strangest bedfellow Trump brought along for this ride. From Twitter feuds to Madison Square Garden buddies, what's the deal with Trump and Musk? These two have more plot twists than a soap opera, and now they're cozying up at UFC 309. Is this the beginning of a beautiful friendship or just another episode of The Apprentice Billionaire Edition? There he was, looking about as comfortable as a cat in a bathtub. Elon Musk, decked out in a suit that screamed, "Mom made me wear this." But why was the Rocket Man rubbing elbows with the Donald at a UFC fight? It's like seeing your school principal at a rock concert. It just doesn't compute. Trump and Musk were sitting so close, you'd think they were sharing hair care tips. Orange spray tan meets receding hairline. But let's be real, this wasn't just two rich guys bonding over their love of sweaty dudes in tight shorts. Nope, this had all the makings of a high-stakes business meeting disguised as a boys' night out. These two have a history more complicated than Trump's tax returns. One minute they're trading Twitter jabs like angry teenagers, the next they're besties faster than you can say government contract. It's enough to give you whiplash. But here's where it gets really juicy. Word on the street is that Musk might be getting more than just a ringside seat. Rumor has it that Trump's got big plans for our favorite Mars enthusiast. Could the man who wants to colonize the red planet be eyeing a different kind of space in Trump's cabinet? Just imagine the possibilities. Musk could revolutionize the White House with self-driving golf carts and solar-powered tanning beds. And let's not forget the potential for a Trump Tower on Mars. Make Mars great again, anyone. Well, folks, it looks like the rumors were true. Trump's gone and done it. He's tapped Musk to lead a brain-spanking new Department of Government Efficiency, because nothing says streamlined government like putting a guy who builds underground tunnels for fun in charge. But hold on to your rocket boosters, space cadets. Musk wasn't the only surprise guest in Trump's entourage. It turns out the Donald had another ace up his sleeve, and this one's got a famous last name that'll make your head spin faster than a SpaceX launch. Just when you thought Trump's entourage couldn't get any weirder, guess who shows up? A Kennedy. Yeah, you heard that right, but this ain't your grandma's Kennedy. What's RFK Jr. doing hanging out with the Donald? It's like seeing a vegan at a steakhouse. There he was, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., looking cozier with Team Trump than a conspiracy theorist with their favorite tinfoil hat. A Kennedy working with a Republican. JFK must be spinning in his grave faster than Trump's golf cart on the way to the next hole. So how did this odd couple come to be? Well, it turns out RFK Jr. and Trump have more in common than you'd think. They both love a good conspiracy theory and have a knack for making doctors facepalm. RFK Jr.'s been shouting about vaccines, causing everything from autism to alien abductions. Okay, maybe not that last one, but give him time. And Trump, well, he once suggested injecting bleach to cure COVID. It's like they're two peas in a very strange pod. But not everyone's thrilled about this political bromance. Democrats are losing their minds faster than Trump loses lawsuits. They're calling it a betrayal, like RFK Jr. just told them Santa isn't real and also supports tax cuts for the rich. Representative Jim Himes even said there'd be conflicts of interest in Trump's administration. No kidding, Jim. That's like saying there might be some hair products in Trump's bathroom. Now, here's where it gets really juicy. Word on the street is that Trump's got big plans for his new bestie. He's not just inviting RFK Jr. to UFC fights and Mar-a-Lago pizza parties. Nope. He's thinking about making him the head honcho of Health and Human Services. That's right, folks. The guy who thinks vaccines are the devil's juice might be in charge of America's health. It's like putting a flat earther in charge of NASA. But hey, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe RFK Jr. will surprise us and start promoting kale smoothies and yoga for national health. Or maybe he'll convince Trump that windmills don't actually cause cancer. Stranger things have happened. Like, you know, a reality TV star becoming president. So what's next in this political circus? Will Trump start wearing Kennedys instead of MAGA hats? Will RFK Jr. dye his hair orange in solidarity? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this UFC night was full of more surprises than a box of mystery-flavored jelly beans. And folks, we're just getting started. What, you thought the Kennedy alliance was weird? Hold my Diet Coke. Trump's got another buddy in his corner, and this one packs a punch. Dana White, the UFC Big Cheese, has been in Trump's corner longer than most of his lawyers. But is this friendship all about the fight game? Or is there a political heavyweight bout brewing? Trump and Dana White go way back, like MySpace and terrible profile songs. Their bromance started in 2001 when Trump hosted a UFC event at his Taj Mahal casino. It was a match made in heaven, or at least in a place with lots of gold paint and questionable taste. Since then, these two have been tighter than Trump's grip on his comb-over. White's been Trump's personal cheerleader, praising him at Republican conventions like he's introducing the next big UFC star. He even called Trump the toughest, most resilient human being he's ever met. Talk about a glowing review. It's like White's trying to get Trump into the UFC Hall of Fame. But is this just two rich guys bonding over their love of watching people punch each other? Or is there more to it? Well, for Trump, the UFC connection is like a protein shake for his macho image. Nothing says strong leader like hanging out with a bunch of guys who could bench press the entire cabinet. And for White, well, having the former president in your corner is like having a nuclear deterrent. Nobody's gonna mess with you. Plus, it's great for business. Nothing sells pay-per-view like a little political controversy. But here's where it gets really interesting. This friendship isn't just about Trump getting good seats at fights. It's become a key part of his campaign strategy. By cozying up to the UFC, Trump's tapping into a whole new voter base. We're talking about people who think foreign policy is deciding which country has the toughest fighters. White's support gives Trump street cred with a crowd that might not usually tune into political speeches. It's like having a translator who can turn "Make America Great Again" into "Let's get ready to rumble." So while some politicians kiss babies and eat corn dogs at state fairs, Trump's strategy is clear. He's going for the WWE crowd. It's bold, it's brash, and it's pure Trump. But not everyone's a fan of this political cage match. Hold on to your MAGA hats, folks. Trump's UFC love affair is causing more drama than a reality TV show. But who's throwing shade at the Donald's Octagon antics? And why are they claiming it's a political punch below the belt? While Trump was soaking up the cheers at Madison Square Garden, not everyone was ready to join his fan club. Some folks were throwing more shade than a total solar eclipse. Who's leading this anti-Trump pep rally, you ask? Well, it's not just the usual suspects. Enter Noah Bookbinder, the big cheese at Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. This guy's not impressed with Trump's UFC field trip. He's saying Trump's new BFFs might be bad news bears when it comes to running the country. Apparently, hanging out with people who have fat wallets and friends in foreign places isn't a great look for a potential president. Who knew? But wait, there's more. Democratic Representative Jim Himes is jumping on the criticism bandwagon faster than Trump jumps on a tweet opportunity. Himes is basically saying, duh, of course there are conflicts of interest. It's like he's shocked that water is wet and Trump's hair is, well, whatever that is. Now, some folks are saying Trump's UFC bromance is more than just a night out with the boys. They're claiming it's all part of his master plan to appeal to the I drink protein shakes for breakfast crowd. It's like Trump's trying to flex his political muscles by hanging out with actual muscle heads. But here's the real kicker. Trump's team is keeping quieter than a mouse at a cat convention. They're not addressing the criticisms head on. Instead, they're focusing on how much the crowd loved Trump. It's like they're saying, la la la, we can't hear you over all this cheering. So what does all this hullabaloo mean for the future of politics and entertainment? Are we heading for a world where presidential debates are held in steel cages? Will future State of the Union addresses feature pyrotechnics and entrance music? One thing's for sure. Trump's UFC adventure has people talking, and whether you think it's a political knockout or a total flop, you've got to admit, it's never boring when the Donald's involved. But amidst all this controversy, one burning question remains. Is Trump's octagon obsession a winning strategy, or is he about to tap out? Remember when politicians kissed babies and ate corn dogs at state fairs? Well, Trump's traded all that for cage fights and Dana White bear hugs. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. So is Trump's UFC love affair a winning move or a political faceplant? Let's break it down like we're commentating on a fight. In the red corner, we've got the pros. Trump's tapping into a whole new crowd of voters who probably think foreign policy is deciding which country has the toughest fighters. He's flexing his macho image harder than a bodybuilder at the beach. And let's face it, nothing says strong leader like hanging out with guys who could bench press the entire cabinet. But wait, in the blue corner, we've got the cons. Some folks think Trump's UFC bromance is about as presidential as a pie-eating contest. It might turn off voters who prefer their leaders in suits, not sweatpants. Plus, there's that pesky little thing called conflicts of interest that has Democrats clutching their pearls. Now, let's talk demographics. Trump's UFC strategy is like catnip for the protein shake for breakfast crowd. Young guys who think politics is boring but love a good fight, they're all ears. But soccer moms and policy wonks? They might be covering their eyes faster than you can say knockout. Historically, politicians have used sports to look cool since forever. Remember Obama shooting hoops? Or George W. Bush throwing that perfect pitch after 9/11? But Trump's taking it to a whole new level. It's like he's not just attending the game, he's trying to be the star player. So, what's Trump's next move in this political octagon? Maybe he'll start wearing UFC belts instead of ties. Or replace the presidential debates with arm wrestling matches. Hey, stranger things have happened. Like, you know, a reality TV star becoming president. But what do the experts say? Well, some think Trump's UFC strategy is pure genius, connecting with voters who wouldn't normally give a hoot about politics. Others say it's a disaster waiting to happen, alienating moderates faster than you can say, low blow. As the final bell rings on this political spectacle, one thing's for sure, Trump's UFC adventure is causing more drama than a season finale of The Bachelor. Whether it's a winning strategy or a total flop, you've got to admit it's never boring when the Donald's involved. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go practice my Trump impression for the next WWE event. You're fired. Oh wait, wrong show. Well folks, our UFC political circus is finally wrapping up, and what a wild ride it's been. Trump's managed to turn Madison Square Garden into his own personal MAGA rally, with a side of sweaty dudes in tight shorts. Who knew the path to the White House ran through the octagon? So what's next in this bizarre mashup of politics and sports? Will we see presidential debates settled by arm wrestling matches? Maybe campaign rallies held in monster truck arenas? The line between entertainment and politics is blurrier than Trump's tax records. One thing's for sure, Trump's not done mixing sports and politics. I hear he's eyeing a NASCAR sponsorship next. Can't you just picture it? A big orange car with "Make America Room Again" plastered on the side. Buckle up, America, this ride's far from over.